Welcome to Abundance Recoded. Today we expand on this idea of living wildly. Today is July 28th, 2026, with a full moon tomorrow. This moon is, or feels like, tipping point energy. Yesterday was shown how this ask of us to touch upon, to entertain this idea of living wildly is the energy of this tipping point. Do you run free, or do you choose to just exist in the energy you've been in practically all of your life? The choice is there for every single one of us, and it starts with the choice of saying, I'm ready to live, and remember how my soul expresses that wildly alive, free, abundant energy and personality. So yesterday was just recognizing where you were existing in life, waiting, hoping, pining for the future, instead of actually being alive wildly in the moment. And today is really going deeper on that, seeing the gift in it that has always been there for us. It's just this energy that we're in currently with coming out of the Galactic New Year, which was this past weekend, and moving into the Lionsgate energy that starts with the full moon and runs through August 12th. This energy that we're feeling to come alive is that energy of the Leo, but it's also the fire energy. If you are a zodiac sign who has an element of fire, then you may be feeling this more so than others. If you don't know what your zodiac sign's element is, you can Google it. I don't know specifically which zodiac signs are attached to fire, but there are several besides Leo. The fire energy is quick and sudden and pushing. It is the energy of creation. It's the spark of life. It's rebirth energy that this portal that we're going into is asking of us, asking whether we come through in a totally different energy in reality based on this idea of everyone being able to live wildly alive, free, and abundant. Where there's oneness and unity, and remembering that we're each soul from the same source, and that in essence, we are love at the core. We are not love of unconditional love, or it's not a currency. It's not something that we get in return when we do nice things. Love is a state. It's a state of being. Just like, say, stillness is a state of being. Love is a state of being. At our core, we are love. And part of this tipping point that will come at some point, they're saying right now, is we're just getting prepared to remember this about ourselves. Because when you live wildly alive, free and abundant, you remember that the core of your being, that you are love. And in love, there's not fear. People cannot manipulate you with fear, keep you in the energy of existing via fear. And instead, you live not just the life that your soul wanted you to live, but you actually live, enjoy each day, each moment. You get up in the morning and you're excited about the day because you get another day to live, not just another day to exist. I know that the Groundhog Day energy is tiring. I've totally been there myself. I have clients that have been there, and it is just exhausting. And it's getting more and more exhausting the more we move through this tipping point energy in this July-August time frame. And it's because the soul, the true essence of you, is like trying to push through but we're still holding back the light that we are. And the soul is the light. And that too can be making you feel maybe more exhausted than normal. But this is where we are. This is that energy that wants to be expressed, that wildly alive, who knows that when they're fully expressed, freedom and abundance is the norm. In a moment, I'm going to channel Sapphire, see what they want to add to this. But I just wanted to add in like what I've been seeing in the last 24 hours since I recorded the last podcast, and things that have maybe started to trickle through about this. One thing I want to talk about really quick before I let Sapphire through is one of the things that came through yesterday on a client call is that with existing, it's this idea that you need to exist until you get the results that you want. So I need to exist until I have the money. I have to exist until I get the promotion. I have to exist until I have 10K months or 25K months. I have to exist until I have the money in the retirement account. I have to exist until I have the partner. I have to just exist until I'm healthy. I have to just exist until I'm the perfect weight. All of these conditions that we put on ourselves that say that we can't just live in the now moment because we have to have the result first. And we are taught that from a young age. We're taught that unless we get the result we want, we have to wait. Because someone outside of us controls the result. Meaning the people who have the money, the people who has the promotion, partners outside of you, something outside of you is causing your health issues, when actually none of that is true. It is just a story that you've been told since you were a child, and you can change those. But money is not outside of you. That is a whole different topic for a later time. Subscribe to the podcast or my YouTube channel to hear that when I do release what money really is and how there's so many stories around it that prevent us from really being able to express it the way it's supposed to. But back to this idea of needing to exist until you have something. I think retirement is like the biggest example of this. We've been taught from adulthood somewhere that we had to save for retirement so that we can live a good life when we're 60, 70, 80 years old. So many people do that, and then when they get there, they're not well. They don't have the time, or they're just spent, and then that last couple of years, even decades, isn't as good as they had hoped it would be if they had enjoyed themselves and lived the lifestyle that they wanted when they were younger. So that's an example of this idea. I just have to exist so I can have money in my retirement account so that I can not thrive when you retire, but survive. That is not at all how your soul wants to live. It wants to be able to use the resources that Source and your soul are giving to you to live in the moment, to travel now, to go take the classes you want to take now, do art projects, take time to write, take time to go walk in nature, to take time to just take time off and go swim in a pool. Whatever it is that would bring your soul joy, go do that. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission to enjoy life. You did not come here to exist, but it is very much how we've been taught from a young age. I think I mentioned yesterday it really starts in school, but potentially it's probably everywhere, honestly, when I think about TV and that. But that's not living. This idea that you have to wait for something to happen outside of yourself before you can live. Another example of this is the economy. I have to let the economy get better before I do X, Y, Z. Well, the economy is just a story that we're led to believe. You're actually your own economy. Your soul has its own economy. And you can operate via the soul economy or the outside one that's on TV that they tell you about. And when you change that, you will see different things than everyone else, because you're tapping into a different timeline or quantum space than everyone else who is in the it's a bad economy narrative. It's just time to move, to stop that existing energy. So I wanted to share just a few examples of where it may show up so that you can examine where you are existing because you're waiting for some outside result because somebody told you you needed to have that before you could live. And once you find them, how can you shift that? What choice are you going to make? Are you still going to choose to exist until that happens, or are you going to choose to live now? Choosing to live now does not have to mean you spend money. There are many things that you do without doing that, like going and sit outside in the sun, going to say hi to a neighbor, going walking in the woods, window shopping. It doesn't matter. There's many things that you can do that would be expressing life without spending money if that's something that you're not comfortable with at this time. So let's channel Sapphire and see what they have to say about this and what the focus is. Now, there may be more about this moon that's tomorrow because it feels super important. I am not normally tuned to the moons, to the cycles. I'm more tuned to my soul cycle, which is what we really are being asked to do. But this moon feels very pivotal. But I am a Leo. My birthday's in this window between the galactic year and the August 12th. So I may be feeling it differently than most, but based on my clients yesterday who aren't in this window, that's not that. I don't think that's true. I think if you're sensitive or you are here to be rebirthed in this energy, you're feeling it. One last thing before I go again, they're showing me the fire horse. And this is something that I have grasped probably in the last 24 hours. So we just went through the Galactic New Year. So on July 24th is the Galactic End of Year. And then there's a day out of time, which is July 25th, and then July 26th is the Galactic New Year. That is based on a 13-month calendar, which we had way back when. I don't know who changed it. I want to say it was the Romans, but I'm not sure, where we became based on a 12-month calendar, which is a man-made time thing. We are moving to what I call Soul's Time, which in my group, Abundance Recoded, I'm doing a course right now to recode time, meaning recoding you back to your soul's time. And this is one of those things that's being recoded because your soul moves on a galactic year, not on a man-made year. And it's important for us to sync to those cycles so that we can be more in the energy of the soul expressed instead of trying to force what is a man-made year onto its expression. So why do I tell you this? Because this year, starting I think in February with the Chinese New Year, we're in the energy of the fire horse. But I really feel like that fire horse is really coming in with its galactic new year. With the lineup of energy of all the fire, creative spark energy between, the start of Leo over this last weekend, and then through this Lion Gates portal, through the first eclipse, and then the eclipse at the end of August, is all this fire, creative energy, creative spark So it aligns more with that fire horse than, say, the beginning of the year. So that fire horse really comes into play now. And the fire horse is about creation, moving with creation, expressing. If you've ever watched horses, they run because they can. Many of them don't have destinations. They're very free. So it's that energy of just expressing themselves because they want to. They run free, and it just really embodies that energy. So if you're feeling like the fire horse has kind of left you behind for the last, 5 or 6 months, I really think it's because it's really coinciding with this energy of Leo. It really is super powerful right now. And that horse is this fully expressed, living wildly energy, probably more than I have felt it for the year up to this point. So that's it for that. We're going to move into Sapphire now and see what they would like to add. Hello again. Welcome back to the podcast. We so love that you come and listen to help us help you remember why you're actually here. Today's topic does go a little deeper on this existing versus living wildly, because it is, in essence, your truest nature. Your truest form is to live wildly alive, fully expressive, laughing when you want to, being happy when you want to, being joyful just because you're breathing, just because the sun is out. Being able to move in the energy of your soul fully expressed is an experience of itself. It is a joy ride. It does not mean that you will never have problems, but you always know that the joy is always there to return to, because it is your gift. It is your birthright to experience joy in every moment. Joy is not something that you do or you have to pine for or exist until you're given permission to express it. Joy is in every moment. It is always waiting for you to remember its peace and its love for you. But this world has been hard for you. It's been a hard lesson for many of you. You've gotten stuck in ruts so deeply patterning, deep habits of not feeling free enough in your body to express that joy, to express that happiness, to express that wildly alive version of you. And you hide. You hope that there's another way that you can express what you know needs to be expressed inside of you without you looking weird or strange or different. Because you've been taught strange, weird, and different meant bad things, that people would make fun of you, bully you, you wouldn't fit in, you wouldn't feel comfortable, you would upset other people's comfort. You would stay silent so that people wouldn't criticize the thing that you said. And slowly over time, that soul essence that you were born as, this is not energy that you are new to, that you were expressed as an infant toddler, shrinks. Every time someone says to you about you being different, strange, weird, you shrink. Whether it's something that you do, the way you act, the way you said things, and it was just like this constriction. And by the time you get to adulthood, you are so small that soul essence that is in every cell of your body is on lockdown. Because expressing any of that would go against your comfort or the comfort of others. So you keep it quiet, you keep it inside, and you just exist until it's safe enough to express that. And maybe you do when you are alone in the car, in the shower. But that is not enough anymore. Your soul wants to be seen in whatever way that looks. And when you just exist, no one sees you. You're like in a crowded room and everyone's talking to everyone else, but no one actually sees you. And we're not necessarily talking about your humanness. No one sees who you are inside. No one seems to care. And that only compounds this energy of feeling small, like you don't exist, that you don't matter. And it's because this shrinking has happened for so long, where you were told to not exist, to be quiet, to blend in at all costs so that no one sees you as a threat. No one sees you as a threat to their own identity. You learn to examine everyone else in the room before you spoke, before you acted, to make sure it was safe for everyone else before you opened your mouth, did anything, moved. Because other people's safety is more important than your own. That was learned, taught at a young age. So now you find yourself as an adult wondering when it's your time, when are things going to get better, when are things going to work out for you. Without the healing of that part of you that learned that speaking up, doing, moving, and making people feel uncomfortable was bad, then you're going to struggle with this a bit. But we want you to know that there are many thousands, if not millions, of people who operate like this, because they were taught to do so. And now in your world, you have things like social media and TV that allow you to just distract yourself away from the world so that you don't have to remember who you were before the world told you you couldn't be that soul expressed version. So now it feels hard. Now it feels like just existing is hard, but yet being that soul expressed version feels so unsafe, so uncomfortable, so triggering. And it's not because anybody's trying to torture you. It has to do with what you've been taught. The world that you live on right now is like very tied into this identity. If anybody threatens identity, people get angry. It has a lot to do with what you've been taught as a child and where you've lived this existing energy. Like, I just need to exist. Because so much shrinking and so much twisting and turning that you've done to make everyone else feel safe before you showed up as your true expression of your soul. It's been wired down so much you can't shrink anymore. And part of you is demanding that the world see you, respect you, hear you. But here's the thing. That's the human. Because it's lost its connection to its soul. Its soul knows how to have all those things happen. Have the world see you for who you really are. Have people actually hear you. Have people respond to you, be kind to you, see you, appreciate you, respect you. Requires you to come back to yourself and heal the wounds inside. The outside world is but a reflection of how you feel about yourself. And because emotions in your world have been so bastardized, so many of you, men and women alike, don't feel comfortable with tapping into those deeply held emotions. You've learned to push them down, not express them, because either they're dangerous or people have yelled at you for expressing them. And now your nervous system and body don't feel safe expressing that energy safely. And the answer to that is not outside yourself, not getting people to change outside of yourself so somehow you feel safe. It's about you coming back, giving yourself permission to feel the emotions. Let the tears flow. Let yourself express anger in a safe way. We want to go deeper here just for a moment because this is an important distinction. And we see it in your world playing out. Boys, when they were young, were told that they're not to cry, boys don't cry. Boys don't feel sadness. Boys don't feel grief. Boys don't feel they're saying like sadness or grief, that you have to hold it in and be strong, stand tall, and just stuff it down. If that's you, you have to find and heal and give yourself permission to let those tears out. Here's the thing. Unexpressed emotions will stay in your body forever. They don't go away. Your body holds them, festering over time. Your nervous system holds them as proof that you can't be that expression of yourself, because tears and grief are part of your soul's expression as the human experience. For women, they're allowed to cry, girls, allowed to cry, but they're not allowed to show anger when they were young. It's not womanly. It's too much for them. Or they're too much when they're angry, or they're too loud when they're angry, and they're not being prim and proper. So, the same thing. You push those emotions down, the anger festers. So then the years go by, decades and decades, and you're still carrying all the weight of either the tears unexpressed or the anger unexpressed, and it is like a boiling point where you want people to respect you and demand that they do these things so that you can keep that part of yourself in lockdown, when really the answer is for you to remember that the soul expresses all levels of emotions. None are bad. And that women can express anger, rage even. And men can shed tears. Men can feel grief. Men can be sad. Or whatever other emotion you were taught you couldn't express as whatever boy, girl you are. Emotions are part of the expression. But because emotions have been so dampened in your world, this is part of the reason why you just exist. Because existing is like numb. Walking one step in front of the other without feeling, just waiting, is numbness. Numb to the world. But this time that you're in now is requiring your soul to be fully expressed. And that means experiencing a large range of emotions and feeling safe with doing it. But because when you were young, you learned that your emotions made other people feel unsafe with themselves because of their own wounding, no excuses there. We're just showing you the full picture. Now you find yourself as an adult and you are mad and angry because everyone else wants you to fit into a square hole when you're a round peg. And honestly, some of you aren't even square or round. Your soul doesn't come in a shape that you would recognize. And there's this energy of wanting to demand that respect, to be seen by others. And really, that's just letting yourself have that respect for yourself. To coming home, to remembering that those emotions that you were told as a child to keep on lockdown are part of this living wildly. Now, we talked about the energy of anger and the energy of sadness, but some of you even learned that expressing joy or happiness wasn't safe either. That you needed to keep it quiet, that you couldn't celebrate because other people were sad or angry or upset. So now there's more numbness in this existing. You just move forward step after step, not letting yourself express the emotions that are running through you in safe ways. So that you can let that soul express through you, through the joy and happiness. But the human also feels sadness, and sometimes anger, and sometimes your soul feels angry. And you have to get to the point where it's safe for you to explore that. And that may go deeper than what you yourself can get to. So either get a therapist or schedule a session to heal the wounding that's preventing you from expressing the soul's full essence of emotions, so that you are no longer numb or angry because existing hurts. You know existing's not enough, but you don't know how to get yourself out of it because you've been so shrunk and so numbed since you were a child. This ask of you to live on a different level of being wildly alive feels so out of place, feels impossible, and that's okay. It can all be healed so that you can remember and come home to yourself. Remember what it is to wildly express with full emotional range. So you have to look at that within yourself. Stop distracting yourself with outside things that you waste hours with, whether it's social media or TV, that is not adding to your soul's expression. Living wildly is not spending hours on a social media platform that feeds this numbness, this anger, this sadness. Heal it so it's not there anymore, and you can step more into that fullness of a soul expressed the way it's supposed to be, where happiness and joy becomes your norm. So just feel that in this moment. You don't have to do anything. We're just asking you to examine that, to see where you want to shift, whether you think you need help in that. And needing help in that is perfectly fine. We're going to leave you here and just let you go into that deeper, because the emotions are one of the keys to letting them express not just the anger and sadness, but also the joy and happiness that will break you from this energy of just existing. If you don't feel safe expressing those, or you need reasons to, then it's going to be harder to live that wildly alive, expressed, free, abundant life. That's it for today. We will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.